and gentlemen, what the world has been waiting for, what the world needs now, the one, the only, amazing, original, Johnny Blaze. Often imitated, but never duplicated, there's Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to the amazing original Johnny Blaze Show. It's always great to be here as I blaze right in with my karate kick. Let's have a blazing hot fun time. If vegetables are so good, why are they always trying to make them taste like meat? I just fired myself from cleaning my house. I don't like my attitude, and I got caught drinking on the job. Why is car insurance more expensive for men than women? Oh, because most women don't pay for sex while driving. I once tried to save money on a hotel room as well. I went to a place called Discount Inn. Their ad said, every room includes entertainment package. The bellboy brought my bags to the room and waited for his tip. I gave him $10 and asked him, hey, what about the entertainment package? He gave me a quart of beer and a Playboy magazine and told me, have fun. Checkout time is 10 a.m. I once tried to save money on airline tickets by purchasing them online. It seemed like a good deal until halfway through the flight when we heard a voice over the loudspeaker. This is your pilot. Welcome to Discount Airlines. The good news is you will receive 50% off your round trip tickets to Hawaii. The bad news is my flight instructor couldn't make it, so one of you will have to help me land this thing. We have a blazing hot fun show with a special guest. He is a multi-talented actor, singer, songwriter, and filmmaker. So please give a big warm welcome and say hello to Dean Simone. Dean Simone.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the amazing original Johnny Blaze Show, Dean.
Good to be here, man.
You're looking great.
You too.
Thanks. Dean, give me a rundown. Let me know all about the Dean Simone story. How did you get started in entertainment, and where are you from?
Oh, good Lord. The Dean Simone story. Well, the Dean Simone story started way back when I was a young actor here in LA. I did, things like Facts of Life and all kinds of stuff. And I did a lot of music out here in Los Angeles. Did the stuff that a lot of actors do out here. Did what I had to do to survive. Waited tables. Did straight jobs. Started making a full-on living at this about 12 years ago, and still plugging away at it, man.
Well, it sounds like you've done quite a few things then, Dean.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty blessed and lucky along the way here. Sorry about that. Let me get those texts to stop. There we go. Yeah. So no, it's been great, man. And it was a dream come true to be able to do game day. I mean, that was definitely just something that I didn't expect to happen, and it kind of fell into my lap in a certain way. But then again, like so much of things are in Los Angeles, things fall into your lap when you work your ass off for a long time and keep going at it, and you get lucky when you work hard at it. So
well, persistence overcomes resistance for you, Dean. That's for sure.
Right on, man. I agree.
How did you? Again, that's your current movie that you're promoting, and you produced it. And you're an actor in it. How did that fall in your lap? Were you able to create and develop that? How did that happen? Talk to me about that, Dean.
Well, I've been a working actor on and off for most of my life, as you had touched on earlier. And then I got to a place probably about 15, 16 years ago when I started writing. I wrote a screenplay. We won Telluride with the screenplay. Absolutely nothing came out of it except we got an agent. Plugged away as an actor, plugged away just doing the work that I was doing. Got on a couple of development deals. Nothing came from it. Wrote a screenplay I felt really strong about. Brought it to this person, Edgar Bravo, who I have a lot of respect for. I've known him through the years. He's phenomenal with screenplays. He's a terrific director. and I brought him the screenplay that I had that I just written. He loved the screenplay, but he was like, I want to kind of do this this thing based on your family, which sort of took me a little bit by surprise. But he knew a little bit about my background, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So him and I started writing together, and this happened, and then his company and his executive producer fell on board. As is the case with any indie film, it's all about really the money falling into place enough that you can make it, which it did, and we made it. So that was basically what led us to right here, and now the film is out, and we're on Tubi, and we're on Plex, and we're on Amazon Prime, and the film's getting out there and getting good reviews, and really thankful, man.
Describe all about it. I think it's about a story about a family with a football game going on.
Well, it's funny. I mean, football is the arena, but it really is not what it's about. The reality of what it's about is it's about it's about family dysfunction. It's about being true to yourself. It's about navigating through the very complex matrix of family to figure out like what you are, who you are, what are the things that hold you back, what are the things that you could free yourself from that could possibly move you forward. So it's all set around the arena of a Dallas Cowboy, Philadelphia Eagle Sunday game in Philadelphia with an Italian family, which is a very, 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 very big deal. And all of the family dynamics that erupt on that day, because it's a very emotionally charged day, and in general for any Philadelphia person. So it's basically about all these family members coming together in a 3-generation dysfunctional family, and what occurs. But more than anything, I think it's really about being true to yourself, finding a way to accept yourself, to feel okay about yourself, in the face of all the very difficult things that life can present. And it's all of these different members of the family story intersecting on this day at this point, and them getting through it, which is, any of us that have large families, any of us that have families, we know how difficult that can be and what that's about.
So yeah, it was entertaining from what I saw. It looks like there's quite a bit of adversity going on with the football game and different things that are happening with all the different people. But they're able to, you're right. They're able to work it out. Somehow they're able to work it out.
Yeah.
And so that's, I salute you. That's bravo. I think that's great.
Thanks. And I'll tell you, I mean, I think really honestly, telling the truth, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're Tupac or you're John Lennon or you're Dean Simone, and you're on the other end of the spectrum. I think when you tell the truth in any artistic venture, whether you're a big star like those guys or you're, not a big star like me, I think when you go on record and try to show people what you're about and really bare your soul, and don't lie, and certainly don't try to make excuses for yourself or say, hey, I'm this or I'm that, but basically just say, hey, here's what I am. This is my plus. Here's my minuses, and be forgiving of yourself. I think that people respond to it because let's face it, man. I mean, we're all just like trying to get through this. It's life is difficult, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing, and I think that the thing that the movie did, largely because of my co-writer and director Edgar Bravo, is we really tried our best to tell the truth and show a truthful picture of what the family dynamic is and what people go through. I mean, for all your listeners that are out there, I'm sure we all go through the same stuff, and we do our best to try to navigate through this very complicated thing called life.
Right. Every day you're above the earth, there's a blessing. You can be here today and gone tomorrow. That's right.
It's a blessing, man. You're absolutely right, buddy.
And Dean, what you did is, I like it because it is honest. It's true. You're being true to yourself. And a lot of people could relate to a story like that. That's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And that was the goal. I've known Edgar for many, many years, and he's been a very successful director. He's done a lot of different films, and I've been up and down the food chain as an actor and as a performer. I'm also a musician, and I've always tried to tell the truth, and I've always tried to give it my all. I look at people like Bruce Springsteen or John Lennon or Martin Scorsese or any of these guys that are sort of these blue collar working class hero people. And I have such great respect for them. I don't know what it's like to have talent like that. I try to do my best, but one thing that I do know is that if we have any kind of talent, even the smallest amount of it, if we can tell the truth, people identify with it because we're giving people something that's real and really a part of ourselves. And I think that everyone deserves that, because so often we turn on television or we watch a movie or we listen to a song and it doesn't contain a truth, an honesty, a thing, a gut reaction that says, this is what I'm going through. And I don't know if you're going through it too, but if you are, I get you, and I think that's what Game Day did. Game Day really let people know, gosh, man, I say some not such good things sometimes with my family, or I don't comport myself the way that I wish that I could, or I did, or I would, but this is what happened. And I think that I tried to be honest with it, and I think Edgar really went out of his way to make sure that as actors and as a co-writer with me, we really told the truth, and that was very important for us.
Well, that's important. You're able to get the job done. You're able to be entertaining, but yet honest and true to yourself and others at the same time. So you accomplish your goal, Dean.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. And now that it's out on Tubi and people can see it, I know it's so difficult. I don't know about you guys, but I go through this all the time where it's like, as much as I love actors like Tom Hanks or Christian Bale or great directors, I find myself, it's like I have a family, I have a life, I'm blessed enough to make a living at what I want to do. But, when you go in there and you're like, wow, it's $3.99 to rent this, or it's, $9.99 to buy this. It's very difficult, but we're really thrilled and proud that Tubi distributed us and that we're there so that people can see the movie. And I really, 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 really encourage everyone who has a chance to go out and see it. It's an indie film. God knows it has its pimples. All indie films do. But, it really is from the heart, and we really try to give it our all. And I think when it comes to art, film, music, books, anything, when people are telling the truth as they see it, I think it resonates, and we tried to do that for sure.
You accomplished that. It not only speaks the truth, but it keeps you entertained, and it's very realistic with what could happen with the family. That's for sure.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Who are you? Who do you admire now? You've mentioned different people. Do you have any people you really truly admire as far as in entertainment? Like, it could be filmmakers, or it could be singers, or
Oh God, I have such admiration for so many people. I will say this, and I don't want to turn this into some kind of didactic prose here, man. But I'm a lifelong Catholic, and I definitely have a great admiration and love for Jesus Christ. I'm not trying to pull anybody over to my religious beliefs, but I would be a liar if I didn't tell you that who he is and what he said and what he is a major impact on my life, because it is beyond words. As far as films and people are concerned, okay, Marlon Brando, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, Stanley Kubrick, John Lennon, David Bowie. J.D. Salinger, the list goes on forever for me. There's so many people that I'm in such awe of, that I just feel honored beyond words to be even in the same world with them. I mean, I look at it, and there's just so many people, so many authors, so many writers, so many filmmakers that are just amazing, and young new filmmakers like people like Adam McKay and just so many, man. I mean, there's just so much great content out there. We really live in the golden age of content. I mean, there's so much. We're so lucky that we can go to HBO Max, or we can go to Tubi, or we can go to Amazon Prime, or we can go to any of these places, and we can see such great work. I'll tell you, last night, my wife's younger than I am, and she had never seen Midnight Cowboy. So last night we watched, John Schlesinger, and we watched Midnight Cowboy with Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, who I actually had the privilege and honor to work with in my life. And my God, I mean, it's amazing. It's just incredible, the amount of beautiful, amazing, touching, heartfelt art that we can see and listen to and connect with and read. Wow, it's a great time, isn't it? I mean, like, everything is open for us.
You have many people that you look up to that you admire. And what is there about all these various people that you truly admire, that you get excited by, you admire, and it must really inspire you? What is there about them? What qualities?
I'll tell you right now what it is. They tell the truth in an entertaining way, in an enlightening way, and they are great at what they do. They've taken the time to sit in their room, to play scales on their guitar, to watch movies to a point where they understand why every cut matters and what matters about the cut, to understand what makes a good story, to understand what real human emotion is like, to be able to be in this world and make a living in this world, and to have been blessed to have made a movie, and we have another movie that we're making right now as well. It's humbling, man. I mean, it's incredible. And I'm not a young guy. I've been doing this for a long time. I started when I was 18, and I have 3 sons, 2 adults, one who's in high school, and I try to tell them, the same thing. You look at a guy like Bruce Springsteen, there's another guy, and you look at him, and it's like, there's a guy, he's got all the money in the world. He's had all the accolades in the world, but he still gets up on stage and he does 3.5 hours where he pours his guts and his heart, everything he has, he puts into it. Man, what could be better than that? I mean, what could be better to aspire to something than to try to be in the sphere of those guys? It's amazing, man.
These kind of people, well, they love what they're doing. They truly, and so do you. They're not going through the motions. They really true to themselves. They truly love it, and you can see it if you hear people hear them sing, or play an instrument, or watch a movie, a great movie. It comes right out. It's positive karma. That's what it is.
It is, man. You're right on the mark, dude. That's exactly what it is, and it's giving. And it is loving your neighbor like you love yourself. And that's a hard thing, I mean, some of us can be very loving to the people around us, and some of us can't. And I think one of the most difficult things in life, certainly for me, has been to love myself and to feel okay about myself. I'm a person that's always, I come from a blue-collar Italian family. Work ethic and self-aggrandizement was always something was put in the background, and work ethic was always put in the front. So to sit there and to say, hey man, what a good boy am I, not the background that I grew up in, but I mean, for us as people to love not only the people out there, but to love the people in here, that's a big thing. It's a hard thing to do. And I think that Game Day talks a lot about that, because there's a lot of self-forgiveness that a lot of the characters have to try to achieve and make happen. And it's very, very difficult, man, because we all have so many insecurities, and we all have so many guards that we put up. And it's very difficult to work through those things. God knows, you make an indie film, and you're dealing with time, you're dealing with money, you're dealing with the things that always go against you. But I'll tell you something, man. If you tell the truth and you really take it from your heart, someone out there is going to see it and go, yeah, man, this dude's like speaking to me. He's saying something. He's saying something that's surreal. And we tried to do that with our limited resources, but we definitely try to get it out there. So we're so thrilled it's on Tubi. And we've gotten some really terrific reviews, which we are very thankful for. We hope everybody goes out and checks it out, because it certainly isn't perfect, but we really gave our heart.
Those kind of reviews, or positive reviews, are very important. Oh, yeah, and testimonials.
Yeah, for sure, man.
You're not going to please everybody. Nobody pleases everyone. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't like something. But as long as you don't have to please everybody, just please yourself, but give it your all, and that's all you can do. And
absolutely. So, Johnny, what's your background? Are you a writer? You seem like you're an artistic guy, man. What's your thing about, man?
Oh, well, I truly love entertainment myself. I have done some things in entertainment. I mean, there's an excitement to it. Oh yeah, I'm performing when you get up, when you do any kind of some type of a show. Well, I could say, I was, if you remember the Gong Show, I was the winner of the original Gong Show. Somebody said, you can't do it, you're going to get gonged. I said, you're wrong, I'm going to win, and I won.
Wait a minute, dude, you have to understand, Chuck Barris, first of all, Chuck Barris is from Philadelphia.
It's right, he's from
Which our Game Day movie is set in, so I was a big Gong Show fan. But I got to ask you, so what was your deal, man? What did you do on the Gong Show? That's super cool.
Well, I did a comedy parody on Elvis. He was my inspired motivator. I wish I could have met the the king, but the concerts were often sold out. You needed connections to get in, and I didn't want to go by myself. But I got angry when someone said, you can't do, you're going to get gonged, and gave it my all. I said, yeah, you're wrong, I'm going to win. And sure enough, I did win. I won the 5, 16, 32 in the trophy. Patty Andrews, the Andrews sisters, Mabel King of What's Happening, and Sweet Louie of the Checkmates were, the ones judging me on that.
That is super cool. I got to tell you, man, I'm a massive Elvis fan and an Elvis file, and I love all things Elvis. So I'm intrigued that you are obviously the same, man, because I'm actually, most people look at Elvis and a lot of the hardcore people are like, post Sun Records, there was no Elvis, but the 68 comeback special is absolutely one of my favorite.
Really? Oh yeah, that's great.
Oh, God, it's amazing, man. I mean, there's a man, handsome, brilliant, talented man that's doing something that's so relevant and so cool at a time where maybe the time and the ages were not embracing him as he should have been embraced. He was looked at a little bit as he's yesterday's news, but you think about it, he was just still a very young man there. And he's just so amazing in that 68 special.
He was at his best. He was a young guy. He had such charisma. And he was, in the 68 comeback, he wore the black leather jacket and pants. He was surrounded by his, mates.
Guys, yeah.
Right. For example, DJ Fontana on drums, and also Scotty Moore on the lead guitar.
I'm a guitar player, probably in my top 3 guitar players that influenced me. Scotty Moore is brilliant. I mean, brilliant beyond words, man. All those guys, that original band, but Scotty Moore was amazing. And James Burton too, who wasn't on that, but James Burton played with him as well. And James Burton was another. Elvis was amazing. It's such a huge part of my life. My mother was a massive Elvis fan, and I grew up listening to Elvis daily, every day. Love him beyond words, man.
There's hundreds and hundreds of Elvis tribute artists and imitators. I actually had a past guest not that long ago by the name of James King Crook. He's an Elvis tribute artist. And I had him on not that long ago. Oh yeah. So anyway, getting back to the 68 comeback, his cronies were surrounded. They were talking about the early days when he first started, with That's All Right Mama, and if I could find a white man with a black sign, I could make millions. But Sam Phillips said that, and he found him Actually, although I never met Elvis, I did work with a producer from the show by the name of Chris Beard. Chris Beard knew Elvis well. He went ahead and he wrote the '68 comeback, the comedy, him and his partner Alan Bly for that show.
Right.
And that's when he said, "We know what you can do." You know, but after that, they called me back for the new show, and I was able to do some comedy parody specials you're not going to see anymore, where I had a whole show dedicated to me, Johnny Blaisdell. I took over the whole show singing Jailhouse Rock. Kissed the woman, shook the guy's hands, and put up on the shoulders like the winning touchdown. And it ran out of time, so they were able to do it.
You're a young guy, man. I mean, you're like, you know, you're like me. We're younger than the Elvis thing. We were like children when Elvis was.
Well, that's right. And then, although you know, Elvis had his Aloha to Hawaii special, as you know, in '73 all over the world, which I could
with the white jumpsuit, man.
I could have been at the '68 comeback. I heard there were at Big Boy Bob's, there were runners. People were coming out and saying, "Do you want to see Elvis?" And these were relatives now that worked for NBC, so they were invited to see Elvis at the NBC.
You talking at the '68 comeback?
Right, that's correct.
Yeah, that was mostly like the family members of the executives at NBC there when they did it, man.
Right, that was produced and directed by by Steve Bender. That's correct. Yeah. Anyway, so they asked me to come back on this new show. And his staff was rude. I said, "If you don't like what I'm doing, I'm leaving." Well, he called me back, Chris Beard, on my phone where I live, and he said, "Johnny, you can do Teddy Bear, you can do whatever you want." And so I ended up, they did a tribute to me, and I ended up singing Blue Suede Shoes, and it felt like Elvis and the Beatles, hugging, kissing, screaming, lipstick on the face, cheering and applauding. And you can see all these things. You can see them on JohnnyBlaze.com on my entertainment website.
Johnny, I'm going to check that out, man. We're kindred spirits because I'm telling you, I adore Elvis, and I have studied those recordings like you cannot believe. I mean, I'm so into that. So we definitely connect there, man. I mean, I grew up with it like a huge part of my life. I mean, I would say as a child and all the way through to, I mean, most of my early years was spent especially because of my mother, who was a massive Elvis fan, all my aunts. Elvis was just, I can't really put into words how much Elvis meant to my childhood and what he was about for me.
He was so charismatic. He had the moves. He had the looks. He was so unique. And he was just very special. He was and is unforgettable, Elvis Presley. He really is.
Oh.
That's why there's hundreds of people imitating him. But the original will always be the best, as you know.
Absolutely. What did you think of the movie?
Yeah, I did see the movie. Yeah, I was going to ask you. I thought it was great. I thought that the guy who portrayed Elvis, I thought he did a spectacular job. He probably will win some awards on that.
Yeah, I thought Austin Butler was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And you know, the thing that was really that I think really locked it in was that he lost his mother the same age that Elvis lost his mother at. And I think that he definitely understood and got that down. The thing that really impressed me, and it was at the end of the movie when they did Unchained Melody, I thought his performance so locked in seamlessly when they cut over to Elvis's actual performance of it, because I really do believe that video film, whatever it is, of Elvis doing Unchained Melody, which is just a few short months before he passed away, I think it's one of the most amazing, compelling. It's amazing to see that force of nature and that person that brought so much soul and so much life and so much into the world, doing what was clearly, one of his last performances in such a beautiful song, such a heartfelt way, through the drugs, through the dysfunction, through the things that he was at that stage, was touching beyond words. I mean, when I watch it, and I'm not exaggerating, it makes me cry every time I see it.
I agree with you. It's emotional. To the very end, he gave it his all, and his voice never let him down. But you can see there was definitely a problem. The drugs had taken a toll on him, the poor foods that he had. And unfortunately, he died at such a young age. It's a shame that he didn't live longer.
42. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
42.
I really believe, what do you think of Tom Parker? Now, he was a great promoter, but Tom Parker wasn't even legal. He was a legal alien, and he was taking advantage of Elvis all the way to the end. And when Elvis died, he grabbed as much money as he could from the Presleys. He used to give 50%. It's unheard of for a manager. Most managers get to 10 to 20%.
Well, I do think, and this is certainly not, Johnny, I hear what you're saying completely, wholeheartedly, but I do think that he was willing to do some of the dirty, heavy lifting that Elvis not only didn't want to do, but shouldn't have done. So I think that the unfortunate trade-off is that Elvis got ripped off, that Elvis got exploited. Some of those things are very, very true. But, I have to believe this. At the end of the day, Elvis was a super brilliant person, got it, understood, and the trade-off was worth it to him. I have to tell you, I mean, as a working actor and as a guy who's become a filmmaker and in this world, this is a very difficult aspect of what we do. A lot of the young people, younger than you and I, that are out there now that are doing this, they understand, there's a give and take in this world right now that is very, very difficult. I mean, you have to be willing to do what you have to do to get your information out, to get your art out, to get yourself out. It's very, very hard. When you and I started, and I think you and I are about the same age, we didn't have like, how many hits do you have on YouTube, or what's your Instagram count, or those things. I mean, those things are very different now for kids. I think for Elvis back in that day, I think that Parker understood what needed to be done and put him on a path where, yes, he was exploited, but he was also exposed. And it helped him be who he is. Now, let's face it. Who's bigger than Elvis as we look back on the 20th century? I mean, Sinatra,
the Beatles. Oh, yeah, many groups that were big.
What's that?
Right. But he is imitated more than anyone else, Elvis Presley, because as unique as he was, with his moves and his voice and everything the way about him.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you think about our childhood, and we were young, but we certainly remember people like Muhammad Ali, another person, Elvis. We were very blessed to see some amazing people in our lifetime and see what they achieved and what they did. And like I said, it's amazing. The other night, my wife, like I said, she's younger than I am. She's 43 years old, and we watched Midnight Cowboy, and to watch Dustin Hoffman, to watch John Voight, to watch those shows, as is the case with The Godfather or Mean Streets or any of those early 70s cinema, it's amazing. It was such a fertile, amazing, great time. And to go back to Game Day, the director, Edgar, I've worked with him throughout the years. We've known each other, and we're friends, certainly. But he's also a guy I've learned a lot from. And I will tell you, to make a movie that aspires to be what, like, The Exorcist was, to be what The Conversation was, to be what The Godfather was, it's hard to do that. It requires a lot of things, and certainly we may not have been able to do that. But to be in that world where you're making something that is telling the truth, that's leveling with people, you don't see that a lot now. And so I really, not to shamelessly plug, but I'm going to shamelessly plug. If you have not seen Game Day, please go out on Tubi, Plex, Amazon, rent it. There's pimples, there's problems, there's things, but there's really terrific acting performances. There's great direction. I feel real solid about the writing, great cinematography. Lafferty did a phenomenal job. And I really want people to see it because it's good to turn on television, look at it and go, wow, there's the truth, because we did our best to do that. And I think that's an important thing, man.
People are going to pay attention to something like that because it's, like you say, It's honest. It's entertaining. You've given it over 100%. That's for sure. What's a typical day as a film director? And how do you deal with people who are disrespectful and rude? And how are you able to overcome that? Talk to me about that. About some of the things involved in being a filmmaker. I'm sure there's a lot involved.
Well, as a filmmaker, I've come along through the acting, writing world of it. I'm learning more what it's about to be a producer and what it's about to raise money. I can tell you this, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you. A big part of it is raising money. And raising money is a very precarious thing because you have something that you believe in, and you believe in it in a way that it isn't like you're trying to, sell Girl Scout cookies. It's like your heart and soul is in it, and maybe you've spent a year, or 8 months, or 9 months writing something, and it really is a part of who you are, and your co-writer or your other people that are involved. And it's very difficult because you have to go out there and you have to bare your soul and you have to go in front of people. Sometimes people are in the industry and sometimes people are like restaurant owners. And you have to say, I've got this thing. Will you give me money to do this thing? Now that sounds decidedly unromantic and a bit like a huckster, but that's the reality of independent filmmaking, because if you don't have Sony or Warner Brothers or Disney in back of you, you have to get out there and, man, you've got to dig in and raise the money. And if your nature is that you look at things in terms of what's the worth of it, what's it saying, did I do a good job, did I not do a good job, it's very difficult to go to people and say, give me money for this. But Johnny, it's such a huge part of it. You have to dig in there and you have to get the money. We got the money raised last time. I'm dead in the middle of getting the money raised right now. I work as an actor. I can't say anything about it because I can't say anything, but I got cast in a very big thing right now, which I'm getting ready to do, which is kind of a dream come true sort of part and stuff. So I'm very excited about that, which I'm going to be shooting in 2 weeks. And you just, man, you battle through it. I'll tell you something. I'll share something with you.
Can you share some stories of any celebrities that you've worked with? Any stories?
Well, I will, but let me share this first because I think this is of importance to people that are out there that are doing, what you and me and a lot of people are trying to do. Literally 2 or 3 days ago, and I work a lot. I'm a working actor. I've had, the film's doing well, but man, I'm telling you, sometimes it gets so difficult, so tough, so hard, that you sit there and you go, what the hell am I doing, man? It's like, maybe I should do something else. Maybe this isn't for me. It's for me, but maybe it's not going to happen for me. And you look at it and you pray and you think, what should I do? What should I do next? What's on the horizon for me? And you think, I'm not sure. And then sometimes you're ready to just throw in the towel, man, and say, man, it's enough. I can't take it. My soul can't take it. And then things happen, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like, wow, this pulls me back in, it pulls me on it, and pulls me to do it. So I would say to everyone that's out there, if your heart is in it, if you want to do it, we're never 100% sure. Whether you're somebody like me or you're Jason Bateman or you're, I heard Jason Bateman say this on his podcast, Spartless. You never feel like, what a good boy am I? You never feel like, oh yeah, I'm in there. That's it. I've got it. I mean, look at Francis Ford Coppola. He made The Godfather and he could barely get, funded to make other movies. Look at Mickey Rourke. What a brilliant actor. I work with John Voight. To your point, you were saying people I work with. John Voight told me stories. I did a film with him. Terrible B movie. He produced it. But the greatest part about that B movie was that I got to sit for about 2 weeks every day and have lunch with John Voight. And I was so humbled by his talent, by his honesty, by the ups and downs that his life provided. And it was like, wow, man, he was like totally like, man, this is what my life was. And I was a pretty young actor at the time, and it meant so much to me, and it's fueled me through my whole life. Mickey Rourke, beautiful person who gets a bad rap, just a great guy, just a super cool guy. So many people that I've worked with, from Patty Duke to Richard Crenna to, Gondry, and like, I mean, so many people. And the one thing that they all have in common is they're very down to earth people, and they don't forget where they're coming from and what they've done in their lives. And I'll tell you, man, it's a struggle. We're all working hard to do what we're trying to do. And as long as you tell the truth, as long as you give your heart, as long as you put it out there, I think people will respond. I have faith in people. And that's the thing about game day, is it's ugly at times. I've had people tell me it put my stomach in knots. And I think that's an honest, visceral reaction to it. But I do think if you tell the truth, that people really respond to it, man. And I really hope people go out and see it. It is.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will, Jay. I have no doubt.
Too, man, because like I say, it's not perfect, but it sure is from the heart, man.
That's fantastic. Dean, you have 26 credits as an actor. You've done so many. Describe to me, besides Game Day, you tell me some of the other iconic films that you've done that you're really proud of.
Well, I've done a lot of stuff, man. And sometimes when I look back on it, I'm going to be honest with you, Johnny, I forget half the things I've done, because I have been a working actor, and I've been a waiter, and I've been a dad and a husband and a football coach. I've done a lot of stuff, man. And I think the reality of it is that I've always tried to do my best with all the things that I've done. And God, there's so many things that I've been proud of, and there's so many things that I've been like shitty and terrible, and I feel bad about doing. But the bottom line of it is, I've always tried to do my best, because that's sort of the work ethic that my parents put into me. And I will say this, the Philadelphia work ethic is it's so strong. Val McAdoo and Pete Bastiglione, who are doing actually the new film that I'm doing as well as actors and producers. We share such a working class Italian background, and Edgar Bravo, who comes from Central California with such a blue collar background, it's such a beautiful guy. And John Paul Rice, who's from the middle American, from the Midwest. All of these people, we all came together to do something that was really, really heartfelt. I have met some crazy people, dude, like people that you wouldn't believe, levels of celebrity and stuff. We could talk for 3 hours about it. People so much more talented than me. That I was in awe of meeting, and I'm thankful every day that I did. But I will tell you one thing, and I'll simplify it to this point. They all really wanted to pursue the truth, tell the truth, and show a side of themselves that was vulnerable, so that other people could get something out of it and feel like, hey, I'm not alone. I'm not the only flawed person in this room. Me, good Lord, I'm as flawed as you can get. I'm up and down the food chain as an artist. I do pretty good. I do better than most, which I'm really fortunate to say. But I will tell you, it's all about the effort, and it's all about the intent. And if your effort is full balls out, go, and your intent is to tell people the truth and not to try to act like you're some big shot, but tell people, here's my issues, here's my problems, here's what I'm about. Well, I mean, if you're somebody like me, or you're someone as brilliant as John Lennon, people sense it, and they feel it, and they know. And that's art. That's what it's all about.
How do you handle rejection? There's a lot of rejection in life, and especially in entertainment. How are you able to handle rejection, Dean?
It's a very difficult thing, you know. I mean, sometimes I just had the conversation with my wife tonight, you know. I mean, you know, there's a quote in the Bible. I think it's in Matthew. Again, I'm not trying to be didactic Christian stuff, but I mean, this is a frame of reference for me, so it's something that I always like to talk about. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Okay, so what does that mean? Love your neighbor. Well, we all work on that, you know. Somebody cuts us off, we're like, that son of a bitch cut me off. I'm mad at that guy or this thing or that. But we love our neighbor. Okay, but not the most important thing, but half of that equation is to love yourself. Now, Johnny, let me ask you, how hard is it? You're an artist, you're a person. It's hard to love yourself, isn't it? It's hard to go, you accept yourself and you love yourself. Yes?
Well, it's not easy, but if you don't love yourself, who will, right? Love yourself and be true to yourself and treat other people the way you want to be treated. That's right.
That's right. And it's so difficult because a lot of times as artists, we feel not up to the task of doing that. And so the main thing for me right now has been to accept who I am with my foibles, with my, you know, with my pimples, with my, with all the things that are not perfect, to go out and to be able to say, here's what I am. Exposing yourself emotionally to people is all that really matters if you're going to be in this arena. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're going to do TMZ or you're going to be, you know, on Eyewitness News as a weatherman. I mean, even I think sometimes those people do a great job at showing who they are and what they do. But I think if you're going to make movies and you're going to be an actor and you're going to be a podcast host and a writer, I think you owe something to the people to say, here's what I am, here's what I'm about. And if somebody like watches our podcast tonight and they go, God, that guy's full of shit. Okay, fine. I mean, you may buy me, you may not, but the bottom line is I can tell you this honestly. I'm saying the truth. I'm telling you the truth as I see it. And if you like me or dislike me, that's entirely up to you. But I'll give you my best to tell the truth. And I think that's what's most important, man, when it's all said and done.
You're a dean of all many trades, Dean. I know that you also have a group, Smoking Cobras. Now you're the lead singer of Smoking Cobras. It's a group. It's a singing group and everything. Tell me, how did you meet your people? Tell me all about this. Discuss with me about that group, the Smoking Cobras. That's a smoking hot name.
Thanks, man. You know what? First of all, I want to say I've played in bands since I was 16 years old in Atlanta, Georgia, with a fake ID, playing bars. I played so many shows. I played in so many bands. I have never played in a band that I have such love for. Ed Beardsley, Anthony Russell, Kevin McShane. I love those guys beyond words. I'm so proud of this band. We go out, we give it our all every single time we play. The response to the band in the world that we live in, which is festivals and park concerts and, you know, events and that kind of thing, it's beyond words. I mean, I'm humbled and blessed and thankful every day for what the Smoking Cobras are able to do. And those guys are just the best bandmates you could possibly have. I love those guys. I don't care where filmmaking or a lot of the things that are starting to happen in my life as an actor take me. I will always be the lead singer in that band, and those guys will always be such a huge part of my life. I love them with all my heart, and I love the band. And I'll tell you something, Johnny. We go and we play gigs, and I am not exaggerating. Swear to you, I lose probably 5 or 6 pounds every time I play a gig. We're stoked, and I'm not the only one in the band. Every one of us gives that much, and we have some great friends and followers of the band that come out and see us play, and it's one of the greatest blessings in my life. I wish we were doing more of original stuff because I am a songwriter. We do a lot of covers, but I'll tell you, those songs are written by songwriters far greater than myself, and it's an honor to play Wooly Bully. It's an honor to play Blue Suede Shoes. It's an honor to play that funky music. It's an honor to do those songs, and we definitely keep them in the public eye, and we get just such beautiful, phenomenal response. And I have love for those guys. Those guys have taken me from Tokyo to Dodger Stadium, all around the world. We've had some amazing shows, man. I mean, it's a big blessing, man. Big blessing.
How did you meet your cronies? And what instruments do they play? You sing. You play any instrument yourself, or what about the other ones? Do they play instruments, and what are their names? And tell me about them. How did you meet?
Yeah. So least importantly, I started playing guitar when I was 6 years old, and I love guitar, and singing came to me as I've always been an actor, and I'm a ham, and I definitely have that aspect. And there was an opening in some situation where they needed a singer, and I was a guitar player, and they were like, well, you're a big mouth jackass, so you want to try to do it? And I was like, and I did it. So that was my start as a singer and a guitar player. But I was primarily a guitar player. Tony Russell, my buddy, is absolutely the most amazing bass player I've ever played with. He's just phenomenal. I met him through Kevin McShane, who is our drummer, who is, again, the best drummer I ever stepped on stage with. He's solid. He's a beautiful human being. I love him like a brother. He's just amazing. He is my true north. I talk to him about things all the time, in music, acting, everything. He's a great guy. And then Ed Beardsley, our guitar player and our lead guitar player and our keyboard player, and a phenomenal singer too. He's just one of the most quintessentially talented human beings I've ever known. He's amazing. He's such a good guy. He's such an honest guy. He always says what's on his mind, whether you agree with it or not, but he's so honest. And these guys, I go to the mat with him, and I will play with these guys until the day I take my last breath, because as important as the acting and the filmmaking is to me, is equally as important as the Smoking Cobras are to me. And I do believe we make a difference in people's lives because we give them everything we got, man. And there's just such a work ethic in the band. I just love these guys beyond words. They're really amazing guys.
That's fantastic. You have a great working relationship rapport with your guys.
Yeah.
And describe to me your happiest memory of performing in your favorite venue, and also your worst memory where something, you tried your damnedest and nothing seemed to work out no matter what. And how did you handle all that?
Oh, gosh. Well, my happiest memory, gosh, there's so many of them. Quite honestly, doing game day, the esprit de corps, the just Val and Pete, who are just two of the most beautiful, talented, decent people. God, we dug in so hard, Johnny, for 3.5 weeks to make game day. I just have never been part of anything that was more, visceral and just our guts that we poured into it. And Edgar Bravo, who I just have such respect for, great director, and John Paul Rice, who was such a great guy and such a hardworking, intelligent, amazing guy. So that was amazing, and that was a thing on its own. And then I have to tell you, it's so weird when you say this shit because people are like, yeah. But I have to tell you, we have played some shows with Smoking Cobras that I can't really begin to explain to you how amazing it was. Like when you look out and you see thousands of people right there, people that are touched, not because you're any great shakes, but because you're just giving them all you got. And those other guys on the stage with you are giving them all they have. It's just an honor to be on stage with those guys. And it was an honor to play for those people. And we've been very blessed at the response that we've gotten from them. So there's been many, many, many things that have just been amazing. More things that I could even recount because there's been so many. Now, I'll tell you the shittiest deal that ever happened. I was in a band called Warsaw Cocktail with my ex-wife, and we gave it our all. And that was a hard-working band. The drummer ended up committing suicide. The bass player was my best friend. My ex-wife was the lead singer, and she did a terrific job. She doesn't speak with me now because she's so angry about game day, which is not about her, and she is not like the ex in that. But she got very angry at me about it because she felt like I was like portraying her in a bad way in it. But we all worked so hard, and we had this massive showcase. I'll never forget it. And we went up. We were playing the Troubadour, and we had all the record labels were out there. And the band had quite a buzz, and Troubadour was packed. And we were like, oh, Elton John got his deal this way, and Jackson Browne got his deal this way, and all these people did this at the Troubadour. And I went on stage, and we had this start of the show with a big rave on the guitar, and getting feedback and all this stuff. And my amp blew up, and I totally screwed the entire band up. My guitar died. And of course, we were the headlining band, and no one wanted to help us out because there was a little bit of LA jealousy going on there. And we couldn't play the show. Everyone had left. I had no guitar amp, and I felt so bad about myself because everyone in the band had worked so hard, and I felt like I let everybody down. So I just talk about wanting to crawl under a rock. And I mean, we're talking about a packed house at Troubadour. So it felt pretty epic. And it was a pretty epic failure on my part. It was like, shit. Pretty bad.
How did you come back and overcome something like that? That's terrible. What happened?
It was terrible. I just did like what my Italian Philadelphia blue collar stuff tells me to do, which is, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, start all over again. I mean, that's been sort of the mantra of my life, man, and that like Nat King Cole said, I mean, that's how I approach it. And, that's what I did. That's what I do every day.
So in other words, even if you felt terrible, and maybe you probably didn't work it there anymore at Troubadour after that happened. Like
we did. We worked a bunch there because we brought people out.
So they gave you another chance after that, even though that was a terrible. They did give you another chance.
Oh yeah, as long as people are walking in the door and buying gin and tonics, man, they'll have you back, no matter how douchey and screwed up your lead guitar player was in the situation. So I felt bad for my band, man, because we all just gave so much. It was funny. I'll tell you a story. The Troubadour has always been like a weird, awesome place for us. I'll never forget, before that gig, which sort of led to that gig, we played a massively triumphant gig there where people were loving the band. And we got done playing. We used to have this big school bus that was painted red. And the name of the band was Warsaw Cocktail. So, there was a connotation of the band that had this like Iron Curtain thing, though. None of us are communists by any stretch of the imagination, and it was very much a theatrical thing. But there was a couple of Marines and a couple of sailors that thought that we were actually communists, and they took it the wrong way, and we had a massive fight. I mean, like a John Wayne knockdown, drag out, Sam Peckinpah fight right outside the Troubadour. I mean, I got thrown through a plate of glass. It was pretty crazy, man. So that was a pretty strange time, man. And our poor drummer, God rest his soul, got kicked in the head. It was just crazy times. But that was the '80s, man. I mean, it was LA in the '80s was it was raw. It was for real.
Boy. Well, interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Did you have audience participation in your shows? And if you did, how did you get the people to participate?
Say that again. I'm sorry. One more time.
Did you have audience participation in your shows with your band? And if you did, how did you get them to participate? The audience.
With Warsaw Cocktail, there was not a ton of audience participation because it was really kind of shock rock. The main point of Warsaw Cocktail was same thing I kind of feel today, which is I'm a political guy. I believe in, I follow politics, but I am neither left nor right. I am outside of the spectrum of conventional American politics because I would think that I'm a liberal by nature, but I have some conservative viewpoints towards things that people that are contemporaries that I have would feel like, wow, man, that's provincial and archaic, and I can't believe you believe that. But in the same respect, I'm probably left of left in a lot of ways. The bottom line for me was with the band, we tried to go out there and we tried to say, it's really about people. It's not about politics. Now, in terms of audience participation, the Smoking Cobras are entirely about audience participation. Tony is 6'6". He goes out into the crowd. I've never known a performer that's more well-loved than Tony is. The crowd responds to him amazing. Same thing with Ed. Ed goes out to the crowd. I go out into the crowd. It's all about, the participatory aspect of it is super important. And I think that's part of the popularity of the Cobras is that we really let people know that we're just like they are. The difference is that they may be good at spreadsheets and PowerPoint, and we're good at playing guitar and singing songs, but we're the same, and we do our best to bring people in, and we have such a love and reverence for our audience. We really appreciate them. The dancers, we have so many dancers that come out to our show, and I'll tell you, Johnny, it's such an amazing thing to look out and to see all these Smoking Cobras t-shirts in the audience, because you never really think of yourself in those terms. You always think of like who would want to wear my t-shirt or whatever, but you look out and you see like all these people wearing the shirts, and it's super cool, man. And it's a great feeling. And again, Kevin, our drummer, and the drums, if you're, a musician or a music fan, you can attest to, it's the most important thing in a band. It's the pulse of a band. It's the heart of a band. And Kevin is so amazing. So he does, and Tony does, and Ed does so much to reach out to an audience and bring them in. They're just great guys. And the connection it's phenomenal. And the audience participation, gigantic, man. Really big.
You're a team. That's right. You're doing it all.
Yeah, we're a team for sure.
And that was a catchy name. How did you come up with that name, Smoking Cobras, for a band? That's really catchy.
Thanks, man. Well, I'll tell you how we came up with it. Was the guy who founded the band with me, Steve LaCourte, who's a brilliant bass player, really great bass player. We were sitting around and talking about a name, and Steve is such a brilliant technical guy, and he's great with cars and stuff. And he's like, I don't know. He said, like, what's your favorite car? And I said, I don't know, the Shelby Cobra. And he's like, yeah, that's a cool name, Cobra. And I was like, yeah, and then I've always been a person into alliteration and words. I mean, I've been a writer. I started writing when I was like 6 years old. Like, literally, I love words and I love writing. And I was like, Smoking Cobras. And he's like, that's it. That's a great name. So there you go. And then we made our logo. God bless this guy. I mean, I'm sure he's out there somewhere. It was like, I sent him the name, and I had an idea of how I wanted the lettering to go. And I was like, can you make us a Cobra? And I think I paid him $100. It's like, and that shirt has sold so much. But he made this really beautiful Cobra logo. And it's just great, man. I mean, it's so humbling. You look out seriously and you see all those shirts. And, I'll tell you something. We're such a small time thing, but in the same respect, we played on 4th of July. No joke, man. In Anaheim Hills. And there was 30,000 people there.
Wow.
And it was just mind-blowing.
Is that the most you played in front, or have you played in front of more And
That was the most.
amount of people?
And I'll tell you something that happened. Not this last year, because we played it 2 years in a row. The year before, we're up on stage, and there's a power outage on 4th of July. And we had played actually another gig earlier that day, where we always play over in Newport Beach. So this is our second gig. So we're up there on stage, and the power goes out. And it's such a weird thing when something like that happens, because you're confronted with like the reality of life, and you go up there and you want to think you're a rock star, or, you know, people are like liking you, or it's going over well, and then that happens, and you're like, oh shit, this is a bad scene. What do I do? So this is like one of my very few talents, but it is something that I am blessed to be able to do. The thought came into my mind to get 30,000 people to sing Happy Birthday to America. So we got this like huge amount of people to sing Happy Birthday to America. And it was amazing, man. You know, they were just so game and so into doing it and okay on doing it. I think that's the thing about the Smoking Cobras, is like we're all just like such a regular blue collar guys that busted our asses to get, you know, good at what we did or play our instruments, and people know it, they sense it, and they know we're one of them, and it's a blessing, man. Super cool.
Do you prefer the larger audiences or the smaller ones? I had a previous guest that preferred the smaller ones, but everybody's different, of course. And do you also do any meet and greets?
We do meet and greets, and they're super
The
cool.
autograph? Okay.
Do autographs, which feel like ridiculous, because it's like, why the frig would you want my autograph? But it is it's pretty funny, and it's pretty cool, especially when they're young kids and they want our autographs. I mean, kids, like kids. And as a father of 3, I think it's just it's a blessing and super cool when little kids want your autograph. Yeah, so we do that. And Johnny, I love big, huge ass crowds that are like totally into it. I love the give and take. I will throw myself on stage in spastic insanity, sweating Iggy Pop style of you know, punk rock at its best, to give to people what they want. I love the big crowd. I never feel like the big crowd is impersonal. I think it's a beautiful thing. But that said, I've had so many gigs in front of, like, we played in front of 40 people or 50 people, and we were like, oh man. But we just decided these are like really good people, beautiful people, and we're going to give them everything we got. And they responded so amazingly, and it was really incredible, which brings me back to Game Day, because I think in a certain respect, that's what we've done with Game Day is a punk rock movie. Game Day, you know, I heard this, I saw this meme actually that said that hippies, and I'm not knocking hippies, so please don't write me anybody, but this meme said hippies are bad people that pretend they're good, and punks are good people that pretend they're bad. So I think that Game Day is very much of a punk rock movie, and I think that the Smoking Cobras are a punk rock band, even though there's nothing punk rock about us in terms of the songs that we play or the way that we play them, except for the energy. And I think that it's all about the honesty, and it's all about giving people, here's a part of my soul, and I'm so blessed to be with those guys, and I'm so blessed to have done Game Day with people like Pete and Val and Edgar and John Paul and all the crew and all the great cast. I do want to say this. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. The person who played my father, Tony Devon, passed away about 4 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
It
that.
was a shocker. And Tony was just a sweet guy. Great singer too, not just a terrific actor. But Shelly and Nick, who played my middle son, and Mike, and Michelle, who played my ex-wife, so many great cast members that I'm so thankful for, and they did such a great job. And Edgar, who I think is just such a brilliant director, and my literally have become like brothers and sisters to me, Val and Pete. Cannot tell you how thankful I am to have worked with all of those people.
That's wonderful. I mean, you know, it reminded me of, it's almost like an award ceremony where people are thanking their crew members and people when they're winning the awards, and they're so grateful. That's how you sound. That's an analogy. You sound like you probably won many awards too, in films, and you know, for your performances, your band performances, and even in your writings. Tell me about the different awards that you won, and what is also your favorite out of all? I mean, do you equally like everything that you have done, whether it be a filmmaker, whether it be a singer or a songwriter, or you know, or an actor? I mean, do you like them all equally, or is there anything that stands out that you like more than, you know, that's your favorite?
As the Grateful Dead say, what a long, strange trip it's been. That's kind of how I feel, Johnny. I mean, to be totally honest with you, I've had so many crazy accolades in my life. A lot of accolades that a lot of people probably haven't been blessed enough to be able to have. Ones I certainly felt like I didn't deserve. I've had things that I felt like I did deserve that I didn't get, that didn't happen for me. My favorite things would be marrying my most amazing wife, Christy, who is just one of the greatest humans I've ever known.
How did you two meet, by the way?
We met, I was working a temp job at a law office, in between acting gigs, coaching high school football, playing gigs at nighttime as a band. I needed money. I was still in my, in my first marriage, in a terrible time. We were completely estranged. We were together as Catholics. We're hanging in with two sons, and I met her, and then I ended up divorcing my first wife, and her and I ended up being together in the long run. But one of the most amazing people I've ever known. 3 sons that I am so blessed to have. My youngest son, Jackson, who is, I mean, not to be the bragging dad, but he's like presidential honors calculus, senior calculus as a freshman, academic decathlon. He's an amazing student and a great guy. My middle son, Giovanni, is 50 times the singer that I am. Great songwriter. He has a band called Vita Moxie, which I mean, everybody should go out and check it out because he's so immensely talented. And my oldest son is a school teacher, one of the most decent, intelligent, amazing human beings that I know, good-hearted, beyond words. So my greatest accomplishments, Johnny, are my kids and being lucky enough to marry my wife. And then I have both my parents are 84 and 90, and they live with us. And I get to wake up every day and to see their faces and to talk to them about the Eagles, with my dad, and the Sixers and the Phillies and sports, and argue. And my mom and I have an Italian mom that's around that, you know, I mean, those are the things in life that matter more than anything. The things I've had that have been amazing, well, I could sit here and I could honestly, not to be immodest, but I could tell you 2 tons of shit and none of it would matter. And I could tell you 2 tons of stuff that I failed on, that I was an abject, massive failure. You know, things didn't work out, but it's been a hell of a ride. But I am so thankful to God every day for where I am right now. Very much so. And so thankful for the work. Thankful for the work, man.
Well, you love everything you're doing. Do you love them equally, or is there anything that stands out out of all the things that you do, whether it be as an actor, or a filmmaker, or a singer, or a songwriter, or, you know, anything else that you do?
No, I love it all. I mean, I sit down in front of a computer, and when it's time for me to write a screenplay, I'm absolutely enraptured and so deep in it. I mean, my wife says I literally go in one side and she doesn't see me for a month and a half because I'm so into it, and I love screenwriting. I love writing songs. I love performing in front of an audience. I love making films. I love acting. I wish I could tell you guys and tell your audience, I just got cast in a very, very major thing that I'm just thrilled about. It's a very much a character role in a very large thing that I'm just so thankful to God for. Because, like I said, I mean, a week ago, with all the things going on, I'm sitting here going, God, what am I doing with my life? What's going to happen? What's next? What am I doing? And then things happen. This is the nature of this world. And all I can tell the young people that are out there that are doing it is like, man, keep plugging, keep doing it. Because, man, it never relents. The opportunities are there. If you remain persistent, you keep believing, you do the work, and you don't quit. And that's the main thing.
That's what I was going to ask you. So, yeah, you already beat me to the punch. You said the advice I was going to ask you for people who want to be successful in entertainment in life in general. Like I say, the old saying is quitters never win and winners never quit.
That's right. And I completely give credit to my amazing grandparents on both sides. People that got up at 4 a.m. and went over the Walt Whitman Bridge to Philadelphia as a huckster. They had a fruit truck and went out and and sold fruit and vegetables, like the most blue collar of work that they could do. My grandfather was a mechanic, and such a bright, sweet human being. Was an AFL-CIO union leader. My grandmother was such a well-read person. My other grandmother was just a sweet, beautiful, wise person. My parents, my dad was a white-collar guy that he was the first, white-collar CEO worker in my family. My mom was a person that worked hard. I got nothing but hard work and ethics from my family. I'm pale in comparison to their work ethic and their strength, but they sure informed me as to what you should be and who you should be, and whatever people perceive me as is whether they see me as talented or they see me as talentless. One thing they can't see me as is a person that doesn't give their all, because I give it everything I got all the time, and I credit that to my family.
Yes, you're very fortunate to have this type of teachings. They passed on great teachings to you, Dean, and you do put your mind, body, heart, and soul in everything you ever do. What is a typical day now as an actor, as a filmmaker, and also how do you go about writing if you want to try to write an original song, or the lyrics come first, or the word, or the music?
Gosh, that's a great question, man. The days are very surreal. I'm such a distinctive type, and thankfully, thank you, Lord, a commercial type. I probably am blessed to audition a lot more than most actors do. In Los Angeles, where I'm at right now, so much of what we do is like self-tape. So where you see me right now, like I'm in my garage. I have this like white backdrop, but I've got all kinds of lights, and I self-tape because most auditions are self-taped. And I have an agent in Utah and one in Atlanta, and I fly all over and do jobs. I do a lot of commercials. So my day is doing a lot of auditioning in the garage, which is my studio, and my beautiful mom, who is 90, dude, and a workaholic, and she's out here doing laundry right over there. And I'm like, Mom, don't do it, because I have to shoot this audition. So I shoot auditions all day. I take my son to school. I pick my son up from school. I play a lot of gigs at nighttime. I rehearse with my band. I write when it's time to write. I get, all the things together that I need to do for the next film, all the things that I need to do, make the phone calls, do the things that need to happen. And my day is crazy busy. I'm also a absolute workout nut. I run 8 to 10 miles every single day, and I work out. I lift weights like 3 times a week. Super into health. So my days are full, man. I mean, I get up at usually I take my son to school at about 6:20, and that's the start. And the day starts until I go to bed at night, if I can wind down to go to bed. But my wife's a school teacher, and she's such a hardworking person. So we live a very middle American lifestyle, man. But it's very strange, It's very weird. We live a middle American lifestyle, but then there's like these things that occur that are just completely, surprising and out of left field and blessings, man.
Dean Simone, I salute you. You have had and continue to have a blazing hot, awesome, and amazing life, and continues. That's for sure. Also, tell me, you were mentioning about I meant to ask you also about commercials. You do commercials, and tell me about how did you get into commercials, and any commercials that stand out that you did, and how you've been so successful.
Gosh, man, I mean, here's the weird thing, dude, and this is a weird thing. When I was a younger guy, I couldn't get a commercial to save my life. And I thought, God, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get a commercial? I was with William Morris. I was doing a fair amount of television. I did things like Facts of Life, but I couldn't book a commercial. And in those days, commercials paid really good, like crazy good, residuals and stuff. Things have changed now with commercials, but in those days, it was like, man, you get a national, making like 40 grand, 50 grand, man, you're making money for the year. Like you're set. And I couldn't get crap, man. I could not book a commercial. So I hit 50, and my wife, God bless her, I was like working at a restaurant, Moe's, in Burbank, where I still have a lot of great friends and great memories, and love those people and love those memories for sure. So I was working there, I was coaching high school football, I was playing in bands, and I was acting. And my wife, God bless her, said, enough, man. You're working. You got to focus on this. Like it's starting to happen for you. And of course, being the person that never, I wouldn't say it was self-loathing because that's not true, but being a person that never really knew how to love themselves or like themselves or give themselves credit, it was hard for me to do it. But she was like, you're quitting, you're going to focus, which I did. So I'll never forget, it was July 15th on my 50th birthday, and I quit. And Johnny, I have been blessed and lucky beyond words to have worked consistently as a commercial actor from that point on. I've made a decent amount of money. I was Jim Beam in the Jim Beam commercials. I have done literally, which is freaking crazy and mind-blowing to me. If you ask me the amount of commercials I've done and what commercials I've done, I could literally not tell you. I've done that many commercials, man, which has been beyond my thoughts and my dreams, and it's kept me alive, man. It's kept me going and kept the lights on in the house and let me take care of my family. So yeah, man, it's been super cool. And I've done, I mean, you name it, from Chevrolet to Maker's Mark to Jim Beam to you name it. I literally have done hundreds of commercials.
What do you attribute your success? I mean, it's not just luck. I mean, you have persistence and talent and drive. I mean, not everybody that does these things can say that they've done what you've done. That's for sure.
Persistence and blessing. That's what I say. I never quit, and I think that I've kept faith in God, and I've kept faith that this is what I'm supposed to do most of the time. But like I said, 2 weeks ago, man, I was sitting here going, what am I doing? What's going on? What's happening? But then I just get to that point where it's like right on the brink, and I say, okay, what do you got in store for me? What's your thought process for me? What else can I do? I'm an actor and a musician and a writer, and That's
You're
what I am.
talented.
You
You're
know,
versatile and talented. Yeah, you're very well rounded, Dean.
Thanks.
Have you been a guest on any talk shows? I'm just curious, like any shows in the past that were out there that were great? Johnny Carson, he was the king of late night.
Oh God, I wish I was on Johnny Carson, man.
Or David Letterman, or
Nothing like that.
Jimmy Fallon.
I think I've probably been on 50 podcasts. I was never on a big show like that, but I've rubbed elbows with so many big name people that I was in such awe of, and I had to pinch myself sometimes to go, talking to this person, holy shit, this is like amazing that I'm sitting here across from this person. And almost every single one of them, with very few exceptions, were just astounding, amazingly cool people. And I'll tell you something, I've had some really humbling experiences. I played Helen Hunt's boyfriend in a television show, and I'll never forget, I was like working in a restaurant, Moe's, that I was telling you about in Burbank, which I loved, and I loved the people, and I loved Jay, who was our owner and stuff.
Were you a waiter?
I was a waiter. Oh yeah, waiter. So I'm in there, I'm waiting tables, and so here comes Helen Hunt, and she sits in my section. She sits on my seat, and I played her boyfriend, and I knew Helen Hunt, and I hung with Helen Hunt, went to her house in LA, hung out with her in New York, knew her pretty well. So to walk up to the table as a waiter and go, what can I get you? I mean, it was humbling, and it was important, and I think that it was a place that God wanted me to go, and I went there, and I was, it was good. And you know what? She was super cool, and she could look down on me, and she could look on me with pity, and she could have been like, wow, dude's waiting tables, and what's that about? But you know what? She looked at me, and it was like, you're still hanging in, man. You're still working at it. And I sure appreciated it. And I felt like, yeah, you know what? I am. And that's where I feel right now today. I'm going to keep working until my last breath. We're going to make a new movie here. It's called Sam's Hidden Pieces. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I feel so great about the movie. We're collecting all the people involved in it, and we're getting money together, and we're doing it. And I'll tell you, Johnny, every day is such a blessing, such an adventure, and I just savor every second of it. I really, really do, man. And I really can tell all the young people out there that are so talented, more talented than me, certainly like how my son is and stuff. And man, just friggin' keep going. Don't quit. Keep going. It happens. And if you don't quit, it's going to happen for you. I mean, if you just stay true to the art, work your ass off at it, and don't quit. That's the American way, man.
Here's a poem I think I'll share with you, and I've shared before, but I'll share it again, regarding not quitting and positive thinking. It's an original poem. Positive thoughts make you hot. Negative thoughts make you rot. So be hot. Don't rot, or else you'll go to pot, and you'll lose a lot, and you won't be a big shot.
Dude, is that yours?
Yep, that's my original poem.
I agree with every single syllable of that poem. That's exactly what it's all about, man.
Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, man, hey, look, we gotta fight. We gotta keep rocking. And
that's right. I'm curious now.
We gotta laugh
at celebrities,
man.
Did you ever meet Sylvester Stallone? Sylvester Stallone was.
And I wish I did. I didn't, and I can't tell you how much Rocky meant to me in 1976 when it came out, and I was a pretty young guy, a kid when it came out. I think I'm older than you are, Johnny, but I mean, remember back in the day, we didn't have VCR and we didn't have that shit, so it was like we would go to see a movie and we would sit. They come and clean out, clean up the movie theater, and we'd stay for the next showing. I watched Rocky 3 times, and it was like, it was amazing to me. I mean, I just loved it beyond. So I wish I would have met Sylvester Stallone. So like maybe if you're out there and you're listening, Sly, hire me, dude. I'm ready to do your stuff. I love him, and he's
I
a
really
great
like
writer.
that. In his movies, you know, like as Adrian, he'd say, "You can't do it, Rocky." He said, "Yo, Adrian, I can and I will."
Yep. And his story is amazing, right? He
It's
was living in
inspirational. Yes, it
he
is.
was in Culver City, and he was broke and getting evicted, and his wife was pregnant, and he wrote Rocky, and they were like, "We'll give you $30,000 if you let us make it, but you can't be in it because we want to get James Caan to play Rocky." And he said no. That's amazing, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, there is fortitude. There is an amazing person. So,
Yeah, it certainly is. I want to ask you, Dean, if you had to do anything over again in your life and your career, would you do anything differently?
oh yeah, there's a lot of shit I do differently. If I could go back and tell myself, do this, do that, countless things I would do differently. But I did what I did, and the thing that's really important about it is now, as an older guy with grown sons or a teenage son, I tell them, well, this is the mistake I made, and don't make this mistake, or this is something I did that worked out. Do that. So yeah, man. I mean, of course. I mean, we all would want to do that, but life is what it is, and when it's all said and done, man, God, I'm so fortunate and blessed to be here right now, man. I mean, I'm like totally, God, every day is amazing. Like all kinds of great stuff happens every single day. So everyone who's out there who feels like, God, life is tough and this is a shitty deal and this is a hard thing, just hang in, man, because it really does work out. It's incredible how things just come around at the most difficult of times and things turned around.
Dean, you have so much optimism. I love your optimism and your positive attitude. It's phenomenal, it really is. And you know what? You're so down to earth. You're not a snob. As successful as you are, you're down to earth and you care about people and yourself. And it shows. You're so grateful for the things that
I am thankful every day, man. And I'm a very blessed and lucky guy, and I get up every day, and it's like some days suck, and I feel like, today's hard. And like I tell my wife sometimes, and she is the best, the most, she's so Midwestern and so just so pragmatic and just such a beautiful, decent person. And I'll get up sometimes in the morning because she's a teacher. She's up early, and I'm up early to take Jackson to school, my youngest. And I'm just like, I'm dreading today.
You two have more in common than just a common cold, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, I'm dreading today. And she's like, come on, man, you don't know. Let's just go. Let's just see what happens. And some days are not so good, but every now and again, Johnny, it's like, thank you, God. Thank you for the day. Thank you for the stuff. And man, just hang in, people. Like, hang in, because it changes. Every day is amazing. And the main thing that I do want to say, whether you're a Christian or a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Muslim or a Jew, whatever your thing is, know, and forgive me for my didacticism here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Know that there's a plan, and we don't know what the plan is. It's not our point to know the plan, but it is our job to keep rocking hard, keep doing what we do, and should I say, there's a way of working out when you don't quit. Like your poem, man, and you're absolutely right. Don't quit. Keep going.
That's right, Dean. Do you have any Dean? Do you have any present projects that are currently going on that you can talk about?
Yeah, I have a film called Sam's Hidden Pieces, which we're getting started on right now. It's a baby boomer love story. It's a story of redemption. It's a story of discovering your past. So excited about it. We've got different people attached to it, and we're getting it rolling. And it's at that stage of like when you start things out. And for a long time, it was like I wrote it and I got it out to people, and immodestly speaking, but I will speak immodestly on this. People were like, this is a really terrific script. I feel phenomenal about it. And we have a lot of people interested, and we are going to make it next fall. So we're right in the middle of raising money and doing the things that need to be done. And Sam's Hidden Pieces is what it's called. And again, it's another story of redemption. It's another story of not giving up. It's another story of discovering yourself. It's another story of not giving up on yourself. It's another story of, like, if you feel like you're flawed, we're all flawed, keep going. That's the things that interest me, and those are the things that I write about, and that's what this is. So I'm really excited about getting it out there. So God willing, and it looks like it's happening, we're going to make that soon.
That should work out. That should definitely work out, Dean.
Thanks, man.
What do you have any now? Do you have any future dream projects that you haven't done that you're considering in the future doing, Dean?
I do. I have a Western that I wrote that I'm really excited about hopefully doing after Sam's is done. And I want to just keep playing concerts until I'm in a walker and I can't play concerts anymore. And I just, like I said, I got some exciting news about an acting thing that may be a pretty big thing for me for the next year or two. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm most excited about being a husband and being a father and being a good son to my mom and dad, who gave me so much. And as very conservative people, you know, just like, let me dream my dream and let me know that I could. So I'm just so excited about the future, and just can't wait to see where things are going to go. Not for me just as a person, but as our country and people in our country. And, you know, I want everyone to stay positive and to understand that we're bigger than the Democrats and the Republicans and the fighting, because America is such a beautiful thing, and freedom is such a beautiful thing. And we're so blessed to be in this spot. So we just have to keep fighting with that punk rock spirit, man, and just realize there's so much for us to conquer and so many things for us to do. So I'm just excited about the future for everybody, man.
Well, just like the song, we are the champions, my friend, and we'll keep on fighting to the end.
You bet, brother. I saw, you know what? I saw Queen 8 times.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury, right.
Freddie Mercury, front stage, man, like front row, center stage.
Wow.
So you're speaking my language, brother, because that's how I feel. And Bruce, too. And Paul McCartney. Look at Paul McCartney out there still rocking it, right? It's amazing,
Yep.
isn't it, man?
Paul McCartney is something else.
Right?
Bruce Springsteen. I saw in concert a long time ago. I did see Johnny Mathis. He's still out there.
Johnny Mathis is an absolute brilliant singer. And these guys are out there and they're doing it and they're living it. And like, what an inspiration that they all are. I mean, hey, it's great. It's great to do what we do, right, brother? Here we are, man. We're doing it, you know, and we're in that world. And there's certainly people that are further up the food chain than us. But here we are making a living and doing our thing. And, you know, thank you, God, for letting us be able to do it, man.
Well, I want to ask you one. I do want to ask you one. If you're getting ready, get closer to wrapping up your Dean. How can people find out more about you? If they want to find out more about you on the different, give me the different links where they can entertainment website, Facebook, or YouTube channel, or, you know, all the different Amazon, Spotify, Twitter.
Yeah.
Tell me
Very cool. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to plug shamelessly. Personally, you can go to deansimone.net. That's my website. Somebody took deansimone.com inexplicably. I didn't know there was another Dean Simone out there, but they did. So I'm deansimone.net. So you can go there and see like what I'm up to, what I've done, what's going on. So please, you know, say hey and check in and throw me an email. Instagram, Dean_Simone. Facebook, I'm there too. I invite anybody to come in and say hey and tell me what's ever on their mind. So that's my personal stuff. The Smoking Cobras, www.thesmokingcobras.com is our website page. Very blessed, very fortunate to be in a band with those beautiful guys, and I'm just so thrilled about what we're going to do. We're so excited about. We have a lot of gigs coming up, and we just can't wait to come out there and play for you guys. And then lastly, please go to Tubi, go to Plex, go to Amazon Prime, Vimeo. Go see Game Day. Not a perfect movie, but a perfect sentiment, and we really gave it our all. And I think you will see, if not one, many members of your own family in there, some of your own struggles. Know that we did our best to tell the truth, and it's there. And I just am so very, very proud of it. Tubi, Amazon Prime, Vimeo, and Plex. Game Day. Please check out the movie. And man, I can't thank you enough for having me on this. We do a lot of podcasts, myself, and sometimes I do them with Pete and Val, the other producers. I have to tell you, you're a terrific interviewer and a very
Dean, I want to say something.
Good guy, man.
Pardon me? Okay, you're saying podcasts. You know, it's interesting. Podcasts are so popular that people automatically jump and assume this is a podcast. And podcasts are great. I'm not knocking podcasts. They're wonderful. But actually, what we have here is actually better than a podcast. A podcast you can only hear. It's like a radio show, right? On this show, you can not only hear, you can actually see yourself. So it's a talk show. It's a entertainment Zoom talk show is what it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, you do a great job. You ask fantastic questions.
Thank
and
you.
More than anything, you're a great listener, man. And that is that's a lost art in this world. So kudos to you, brother.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do, because I take pride in what I do, and I do my best to prepare for each and every show that I do. Each person is unique and have their own personality and their own take on different things in the business. And I like to interview and talk to people like yourself. You're so positive and optimistic, and down to earth, and so grateful. Anyway, there's a few other things. Can they find you also on, how about your YouTube channel and imdb.com page?
My YouTube channel sucks. I'm so bad at my YouTube channel thing, and my son keeps telling me, my middle son, it's like, dude, you got to get your YouTube together. I've got to get better at it, but I do have a YouTube channel, so please go and check that out. But mostly I do a lot of Instagram and Facebook. I know Facebook is like the old guy thing, but Instagram, Facebook, that for sure, and the website. And please, seriously, I mean, please email me, please write me. If you think I'm full of shit, let me know. I'm happy to talk to you about it. If you agree with the things I'm saying, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Please check out the movie, and please stop by. And again, keep going, folks. Keep going, keep rocking.
I want to say, as we wrap up here, Dean, you also have an IMDb page too, imdb.com. Dean Simone.
I do. Yeah. I Dean Simone IMDb page, and again, as I said, and I wish I could say it, I can't say it right now because of the NDA situations, but
it's a spoiler alert. You don't want to give out a spoiler alert. That's right.
I can't say it. I literally can't. But something really, really cool happened in the last couple of days. So things are moving, and I thank God every single day. And I really, 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 Johnny, appreciate you, man, and having me on and letting me talk about Game Day. And please, folks, check out Game Day. So many great, talented people involved in it. And I do think you'll find an aspect of yourself or your family in there. And we hope that it does a very small part in letting you know that all these difficult things that we go through in family, all these things that we say sometimes that we regret, all these things that we do that we wish we didn't do, and all these things that we wish we did that we didn't do, happen in our lives. And Game Day really deals with that. It's not about football, it's about family. And we really hope people that will see it and will feel some healing from it, because we were very fortunate to make it.
Dean Simone, the time has gone by fast. I thank you very much for being such a great, fun, and inspirational and most entertaining guests on the Amazing Original Johnny Blaze Show.
Thank you, my friend. The feeling is mutual, and anytime I would love to come back and talk to you some more. You're just you're a prince among men. You're a super good guy, and I really enjoyed talking to you, my brother.
It's certainly been my pleasure, Dean Simone. Anyway, as we get ready to wrap up the show, for all my fans and friends, always keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. And until next time, happy trails and blaze out.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be a guest on an entertainment talk show, please send us an email at amazingoriginalJBshow@gmail.com. All of our episodes will appear on YouTube and Facebook and receive over 3,000 views. Don't forget to sign up for our YouTube channel, and every guest will receive a complimentary DVD of their appearance on the show. Remember, we are much better than a podcast. And now, the amazing original Johnny Blaze has just left the building. Good night, and God bless. Thank you.